Hey everyone, welcome back to the Castaway Consultants, where we teach future Survivor players how to play the game by criticizing current players. And we do have a batch of current players to criticize tonight because we are talking about the Survivor 48 premiere, the Get to Know You game. And I'm joined by my two fabulous co-hosts, Josh Wessler and Derek Kubicek.
Oh, you said my name first. Hello.
We remembered.
Yep, we remembered. How are you guys doing? It's Survivor 48 Survivor Day. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. I was excited all day for this premiere, and sadly we are not able to watch it, all three of us together. I'm off on my lonesome. We are recording this remotely, but that's all right. I still had a good time, and boy do I love this cast. Most of the cast, but I found myself multiple times throughout the episode just being giddy just because I like the people here.
There was a lot of fun tonight, I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we're getting a mostly positive cast and any sort of negativity will get flushed out in the pre-merge. I wouldn't call it pure negativity. It's just a level of intensity that manifests itself in very poor gameplay, I would say. But I am excited for the season after the premiere, and I'm excited to see what comes of our little batch of misfits here.
Well, let's go over this cast, and then we'll get into spoilers. Yeah, not much else to talk about here before we get into it. There's a lot of fun tonight, though.
Yep, so here are our 18 castaways. Starting on the Vula tribe, we have Cedric McFadden, a surgeon, a butt surgeon from Greenville, South Carolina. Justin Piapi, a pizzeria manager from Winthrop, Massachusetts. Kevin Leung from Livermore, California. He's a finance manager. Mary Zhang, a substance abuse counselor from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Say Hewley, a marketing professional from Simi Valley, California. And Stephanie Berger, a tech product lead from Brooklyn, New York. And that is the Vula tribe.
Yep, they're the Green tribe.
The Green tribe, yep. And then we're going to go over to the Pink tribe, Purple tribe, Lagi tribe. We've got Bianca Roses, a PR consultant from Arlington, Virginia. Ava Erickson, a PhD candidate from Providence, Rhode Island, but she's really from Minnesota.
Originally from Minnesota, and you could tell by the way she says bag.
Bag. Joe Hunter, a fire captain from West Sacramento, California. Shahin Davari, a debate professor from Costa Mesa, California. Star Toomey, a sales expert from Augusta, Georgia. And Thomas Krotinger, a music executive from LA, obviously California. And that is the Lagi tribe, the Pink tribe. Next, we head over to the Siva tribe, and we have Charity Nelms, a flight attendant from St. Petersburg, Florida. Chrissy Sarnowski, a fire lieutenant from Chicago, Illinois. David Kine, a stunt performer from Buena Park, California. Camilla Karthigasu, a software engineer from Foster City, California. Kyle Frazier, an attorney, my favorite, from Brooklyn, New York. And Mitch Guerra, a PE coach from Waco, Texas. And that is our cast. Love them or hate them, here they are.
Yeah, Siva's the Orange tribe.
Siva is the Orange tribe, reminder.
And notably, the lawyer is lying about being a lawyer.
Yeah, they're starting to get smart. The lawyers all listen to this podcast because I feel like most lawyers are hiding their professions now. They know.
The lawyers are learning. Next, they'll be able to open doors.
They're evolving. Oh, no.
They're velociraptors.
Life finds a way.
The lawyers find a way.
Well, let's get into spoilers, huh?
Let's get into spoilers. If you haven't seen this episode, go watch it. 3, 2, 1, and we're off and running.
All right. We're going to lose Stephanie tonight. Stephanie is going to be our first brute. And you know what? I'm pretty okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, no, not to bury the lead on this one. There are only 2 people on the cast that I think were presented in a fairly negative light, or cast in a bit of a negative light. And that's not to say anything against Say or Stephanie, but I was pretty pleased that these were the 2 that were on the chopping block based on what we saw this episode.
Yeah, as soon as Stephanie brought up that she's an air sign, and Say is like, I am also an air sign, and I don't get along with other air signs, I'm like, oh my God, vote them both out, please. I think we've gone over this before, but this is a pretty anti-Zodiac podcast. If that offends you, I'm not sorry.
I wouldn't say anti. Like, we're not going to dislike people just because of that. Now, we might not be able to converse about it and might hold it against you in the game of Survivor, but, that's your choice to make.
I may think less of you.
See, the beauty though is I got very, very lucky, and actually all fire signs like you and me. By the way, I didn't know that the elements were related to different signs. That is literally something that I learned tonight.
Yeah, I had to explain to Derek what air signs were.
Yeah, and so I learned that I'm a fire sign, and I know that I'm a Leo, and I know that pretty much everyone hates Leos, but I also
Leo
know,
gang.
But I also know that it's okay for Leos to hate astrology because that's a very Leo thing to do. So it works out. I am falling right in line with expectations of me
Zodiac's real.
by being a Leo. But on the other hand, I'm married to Sagittarius, and we are very happy together. And my son is a Sagittarius, and he loves me. So astrology makes no sense to me.
Yes.
And that's all there is to say about that.
And that's all there is to say about that.
Yeah, it
because
just-
it
yeah,
doesn't matter anymore.
Yep. We got rid of one of the two people confirmed into astrology to some capacity, and I'm okay with that.
Yes.
I don't. I just don't want to hear about it all season. But yes, the episode is going to start off properly with we get clips of everyone being told they have made the cut. They're going to be on Survivor 48, which is pretty cool. It was fun seeing all the reactions to everybody.
I don't think they've ever done that before, right?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of, at least not live on the show itself.
No, Survivor didn't do much metagaming before Winners at War.
Yeah.
Because they gave us a little bit of context on the Poker Alliance
Yep.
on Winners at War. But before that, there really wasn't a ton of that. We started to get, flashbacks of people's stories. But this was, hey, you're finding out that you're playing Survivor, and it was on Survivor. So this is the kind of like meta narratives that
It's
I
the
think
post-meta era of Survivor.
we're post meta. No, we are smack dab in the middle of Survivor kind of worshiping itself, and the people on it also worshiping Survivor. So we're in the meta era.
Yeah. We're going to do the opening challenge. And I got to say, Jeff Probst, I know you're a huge fan of the podcast. I have notes. Let's stop using mud in the opening challenge because it's hard to tell who's who at that point. I'm like, I just met these people. I need to know who is who.
Oh, and see, if you listen to the On Fire podcast, that's his favorite part of the opening challenge because you're being birthed, his words, birthed into the game of Survivor. So the mud is never going to go away for the opening challenge.
I want to know who is who, Jeff. This is bad. Have it be a water challenge. You can be birthed in the water.
I never really thought about it before, but Ryan, just from a production standpoint, I agree with you. You can have a mud challenge, but how would it make it be the immunity challenge?
Sure, there we go.
If the hit the beach challenge is one where we can actually see these people and say their names a lot, please, Jeff. Like,
we're learning who these people are and who we should care about.
and if you're featuring someone, maybe give them a lower third. Like, this is this person going through this challenge.
So Loggy is going to not lag behind. I don't know. It's spelled leg. I don't know. There's something there. And they're going to win. So one person from the two other losing tribes has to go on a journey to get the rest of their supplies, as is tradition. Kevin and Kyle are going to be the two who go. And again, we don't like this. You don't want to be separated from your tribe so early in the game. It's generally a bad move. And I will stand by that for Kyle. I think this is bad for Kyle to be the one to go. Kevin, on the other hand, who's on the Vula tribe,
Green.
there's a lot more to the story for him that was cut out, and I think it's crazy that it was, but apparently what happened is he injured his shoulder in this opening challenge. Apparently it was so bad, he dislocated it and passed out, and medical had to get called in to pop it back into place. Okay, I would have loved to have seen that.
And by the way, we were teased with this at the 48 teaser at the end of 47.
Yep.
And this is all per Mike Bloom, who was there for everything for this opening episode through the first vote. He said Kevin's story, his injury was cut for time. He dislocated his shoulder and passed out, and they had to call in medical to pop it back into place. What a wild thing to cut for time.
Yep, that's crazy to me.
I can think of a few things that maybe could have been cut to spend 2 minutes on someone passing out on the first challenge.
So Kevin's going to volunteer to go basically as kind of a redemption to prove his worth to the tribe. It's kind of a very high risk play to make, but considering he passed out and is injured, I can understand why. He's probably the thought process, if we lose, I am done. I need to prove I can do stuff for my tribe. I get it. So I can forgive Kevin for taking this spot just because he's trying to prevent himself from being the first boot at this point.
It's the one time that you want to do this.
I was going to say his whole arc when Jeff was talking to him, Kevin was saying, I see all these behemoths, and there are these scrawny people that I've seen play Survivor and do well too, and look, I can do it too. And I'm like, okay, so now you immediately injured yourself and you kind of played up being that underdog, you're a David sort of thing. Well, now you need to prove that you're more than a David and not just a David, I think. So I don't mind the move.
So over on Loggy, Thomas and Bianca are going to bond, and they form an alliance. They get on pretty well. But Thomas, who is also going to form an alliance, which ends up being called the California Girls Alliance, with the two other guys on his tribe, Joe and Shaheen. Yeah, so the three of them they're all from California, so they form the California Girls Alliance. So we have a men's alliance called the California Girls Alliance.
Which makes it an all-women's alliance, and I'm standing by it. We still had no men's alliances.
So we got an alliance with them going on. And then we also have Eva, who is going to form a bond with Joe. And it turns out Eva has autism, so she has trouble telling when people are lying to her. That could cause her trouble in Survivor. But she forms a really tight bond with Joe because he is a real family guy, and not the Peter Griffin style, like a actually nice, good person, it seems like. And the two of them really form a close bond. And she kind of tells him, like, hey, I have autism. If I ever get trapped in a loop, stuck in my own head, here's some ways that can help me break out of that. So yeah, it's actually like a really, really sweet, emotional moment that definitely did not make me tear up at all.
Very tender.
And these two are both really like, they want to play this game with loyalty and honesty. And I think it's interesting that we have these two who both want to play that way. We usually don't get two people who want to play that way on the same tribe. So they could be quite the duo.
I actually think the California girls plus Ava could do quite a bit of damage in this game, especially if you can rally around a tight duo like Joe and Ava might have with the bond they've made. I'm really interested to see what comes of it. But one thing I think worth stating, and it'll probably come up later in the season, Mike Bloom. I was very active following his Blue Sky this episode. The reason that Joe is playing the game is because his sister always wanted to play and was killed in a domestic violence dispute of some kind. And I feel like he sees then maybe his sister a little bit in Ava, or like, this is how I can honor her memory. And it's like, man, how can you not love Joe? And what's wild, I'm pretty sure that Joe was the one who said that he wanted to go to a final three with an all-men's alliance. And so he was the least popular guy going into the season based on pre-game stuff. I hope that he's one of the most popular coming out of that episode, and I can't honestly see it being any other way. Really cool.
Yeah, this was all really good moments like you guys talked about. I am really intrigued about what's going to happen with, how the duos lay out, because you said that you have the three guys forming the California Girls. You have Eva and Joe together as a tight duo, but at the same time, Thomas and Bianca are a really tight duo as well. We even have Thomas saying that Bianca is his number one. So if it needs to get down to it, how does that five break apart? I think that's going to end up, probably happening at some point here in the pre-merge. And I really like all these people so far, so I don't want it to happen, but it's going to be really interesting.
I'm not so sure that this tribe is ever going to lose.
I don't either.
Joe is the biggest guy on the season. Shaheen is also a huge guy. Eva is strong as hell. Star is huge. They have four giants on this tribe, and I think Thomas and Bianca were the ones who do the puzzle.
Yeah, but even Thomas is a big dude.
Yeah, Thomas is a big dude, but like Thomas and Bianca did the puzzle and nailed it. So I don't know if they're going to lose unless there's none of them can swim or something. I don't know. They could all be terrible at the blindfold challenge or something like that. So it's certainly possible, but I would bet money that they don't lose next, at least. Like, if I was to bet on which one's not losing, it's them. The one person we haven't talked about much from this group who's not in an alliance is Star. And we're going to be told that Star isn't very social. And then also she goes idol hunting for a long time and everyone notices. So that's not great. So, and with how difficult it is to get this idol, I don't like Star's chances.
To be great, you got to integrate.
Yeah, we're gonna get actual multiple mentions of people wanting to focus on the social game or mentioning how important the social game is. And just from the winners that we have seen here in the new era of Survivor, you can't just ignore that. You can't just only go for the strategy or go for idols. Like, come on, that like this is old news.
Over on Vula, Say is going to try to strategize with the girls right off the bat, Stephanie and Mary. They don't really go for it. They don't like lean into it and be like, "Oh yeah, sure, what's up?" They kind of brush her off, which is not what you want to do. Like you don't necessarily want to be the person going and being aggressively forming alliances in day one. But if someone approaches you with one, yeah. If someone asks you if you want to be in an alliance, you say yes. It's the Ghostbusters rule.
Yes.
Yeah, Say was the type of person, at least right away at the beginning, who would definitely rub me the wrong way. Because, I would want to try to get a day one alliance going with just one other person for sure. But it seems like she's trying to do it with everybody. She just wants to, build a solid alliance and be like, oh, we're going to be good for the rest of the game. No, no, I don't really want to talk about that right now. I'm trying to build a shelter for us.
She's playing too hard. Stephanie and Mary are a little too soft here.
This tribe is all over the board.
Yep.
And I'm going to side with Josh a little bit, but I want to talk about how I feel I would handle this. I don't know. I'm not out there. I'm not any of the guys, and I'm certainly not Stephanie or Mary in this instance. But if someone came up to me and was very aggressive on day one, we're a 4, we're a 3, we're going to do this, we're going to go to the end, I'll be like, yes. But what you need to do is self-audit after that, especially if you're in a group, and maybe check in with the other people who were there. Did that seem forward to you, or do you guys are we rocking with that?
Exactly.
And obviously reading the room is the most important thing here, but I felt like everybody was a little bit, pun intended, blindsided by how forthright Say was being.
Yeah, I agree. She's going to go after the guys instead, and so she, Justin, and Cedric make an alliance, and they plan to bring in Kevin when he gets back from his challenge or whatever he's got to go to. So we're going to cut over to that. This might be my favorite part of the episode besides the Ava and Joe stuff. This was such a fun little head-to-head challenge. So it's Kyle versus Kevin, and they have to dig up a machete, and then they have to get a pot down from a giant bamboo tower. And they're like, you can do it however you want. However you get it down, it's up to you. And I'm like, that's cool. You could shake it free. You could, try and chop the tower down. You could try climbing it. You could try and use another bamboo pole and poke it down. Like, this is fun. This feels very old school Survivor, but yet there's so many different ways you can attack this thing. It's like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. This is super fun. I love this kind of stuff. So this was probably my favorite part of the episode. I really enjoyed this.
And I think it's a great switch up from Sweat versus Savvy or, any of the previous iterations of trying to get their machete and pot that we've seen in the new era.
This one's a little bit of Sweat and Savvy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's also a way to wrap a hero challenge in. I think the only thing that would have made this more fun for me is if everybody got to watch them do this.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that because we always have to remove them and put them on Mystery Adventure Island to go do a thing. But back in the day, it was, no, you volunteered. Now everybody gets to watch, including the tribe that's safe.
Do it like a Redemption Island style where it's like an arena. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so this was fun. Kyle is going to be just rushing as fast as he can through this, where Kevin, he's going to take his time because he's hurt and doesn't just want to screw himself over by making a mistake, which is exactly what Kyle's going to do. During the final stage, they have to fill up a glass jug of water, and Kyle's going so fast that he smashes the glass jug with his pot by accident, DQs himself from the challenge. So Kevin's going to win automatically, but Kyle's going to be a good sport and literally help Kevin finish filling up his glass jug, which is exactly the right move for Kyle. Try and, you're not winning. You are not getting this flint. Only one of you is getting it. It's not you. Help the other guy get it. Form a bond. If you both make it to the merge, you can be the final two.
Bond over anything. At the very least, I think a savvy Survivor player who, let's say that you're Kevin and you see Kyle break his challenge, and then you see him kind of moping on the beach, not trying to connect with you. That's not somebody that I would want to work with anyway. So it's more of a hygiene thing where, hey, if this person doesn't try and cheer you on or come and bond with you while you finish out, that's a red flag. And this is more of a beige flag to a green flag.
Yeah, I'd say a moderate green flag. So Kevin's going to get back to camp, and he and Mary are going to bond pretty early on and make an alliance. And then Kevin is going to get pulled into Say's alliance as well. So Kevin's in a great spot, it turns out. We don't recommend you going off on the challenge. Once again, because you miss out on valuable bonding time. It's just fortunate for Kevin that everybody's like waiting for him to come back so they could bring him in, because already a little bit of a fracture happening. So Kevin gets lucky, but he also, it's a weird circumstance with his injury. But we don't recommend this typically.
I mean,
Yeah, this is a result of the people who are on this season with him, which is not always going to happen. This is a unique tribe.
Yes, that's very polite.
I mean,
Josh.
how often do you end up with two very stubborn air signs on the same tribe?
Someone let us know. Actually, don't. Please.
I'm sure somebody.
Probably very common.
Max, big fan of the podcast.
Max Dawson, I'm sure knows. The answer to this.
Let us know what the biggest air sign tribe is of all time. And please let it be Aris's tribe.
Kasaya.
Please let it be Kasaya tribe.
I don't think I want to know the answer to this. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. Say is going to lead her alliance on an idol hunt. And so she is going to end up finding the Beware advantage with Justin. So she takes it. She's going as fast as she can into this game. And it is a codex like puzzle box where there's 6 letters you have to figure out the combination to open this box. So this codex, this is not her strong suit. So she's going to tell the rest of her alliance about it. It does make them trust her more, but they're also like, but she's also going to have an idol.
On day 2.
So there's all these animal clues hidden around. They're literally drawings of animals hidden around the island. And basically, there's a number combination, which is also color-coded, which tells you which letter in the animal type, letter 3 in fish, S. So that is the 3rd spot at the Codex puzzle. So it's this kind of complicated puzzle to open this thing and get the idol out. And eventually, she is going to figure it out with a little help from Cedric.
A little help from her friends.
Yes, a little help from her friends. So she is going to get the idol. And boy, oh boy, were we disappointed. Because I was like, no, I wanted her to go first.
I'm not mad that she got it open. I think it puts the other 3 people that have agreed to a 4-person alliance with her in a more rigid spot. Because now it's, okay, are you going to actually put a ring on it and marry this alliance now for at least a vote? Or do you just want to be like, nah, she's too comfortable. I want to at least take a shot at her on the way out. If it were me, I don't think so. This is some pre-merge stuff. Let the pre-merge be the pre-merge, and sometimes that's got to be the glue. The same thing happened with Rome last season.
Oh, Rome.
And it worked out so well for him.
Yes, it did. So well. Over on Siva, Kyle's going to get back to camp, and he is going to tell his tribe he is a teacher, not a lawyer.
Yeah, got to be honest. Solid move. Now, any lawyers out there who will play with me someday, I will be in an alliance with you. Absolutely. I'm just on a podcast. This is fun for me.
Heck, you might want to take him to the end. You probably can beat him.
This is a really good move, though, because some people are not like me, and they will hold the fact that you're a lawyer against you.
I will absolutely work with lawyers. I'll work with anybody.
Except air signs.
I'll work with anybody.
And I'll work with air signs.
Yeah, I'll work with other fire signs.
So, yes, I talk a lot of smack on this podcast. But in all honesty, if we're out on the island together, unless you're a Nazi or something, I'll work with you. If you turn out, oh no, we accidentally put a racist or a Nazi on Survivor or something. Okay, I'm not going to work with you. I'll vote you out. Hot take. But anybody else, even if I find you annoying, I'll work with you.
Josh, you said it could happen. I was going to say, well, it has happened. I'm not going to say anything about Nazism here. I can't believe we've devolved into this, but we've definitely had some racists on the show in seasons past.
Though they weren't exactly, they weren't accidental or secret racists. It was like, oh, let's put someone who's got some racist tendencies on the show for drama. That was a thing back in the day. I don't know if they would do that anymore. I feel like Survivor's let's not do that.
Homophobic tendencies is another one.
Bring back John Rocker.
Oh, no. No.
Shockingly in the news recently.
Yeah, he's going to fight Patrick Mahomes' dad in the octagon or something. I don't
this is news to me, and this is also things I didn't want to know.
This is the stuff that when I read it, it makes me a little dumber, if I'm being honest. So there's some meta for you when we're recording this. Someone 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now will be listening. What are you talking about? Oh, wait, is that how Patrick Mahomes' dad died?
Well, here's what I'll say. This is a family-friendly podcast. F. John Rocker.
Yeah. I feel like we had some okay things to say about him.
He was interesting on the show. F. John Rocker.
Well, and even
And
after,
you know what? F Nazis too.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Hot take, maybe.
Well, it's
Hot
hard
takes.
because we just covered Blood versus Water 2 not too long ago. And we were talking about how after the show, he seemed to be in good standing with a lot of people, but he seems to have like unmetamorphosized or maybe shown his true colors
Devolved.
again or regressed.
Whatever, pick your word.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. He's definitely more Anna Kate than anyone who's experienced real growth in their life.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with me, you don't have to listen to this podcast.
Yeah. F you too.
Oh, we're hitting the ground running today. Oh boy.
We're off. It's Survivor 48, baby. We're just so much fire. Dude, we are fire signs. So we
can't
gotta
help it.
spit some fire, yo.
Yeah, Josh is a fire sign.
Yeah, Josh,
too.
this is we should just call this
I am
the
too.
On Fire Sign podcast.
Oh.
If only we had known back when we started this thing in 2019.
If we would have named the podcast after astrology, we would have quit a long
Oh
time
yeah, we
ago.
absolutely would. But I've had coworkers who are super into astrology, and I get along with them great, and I just like to roast them because I'm a fire sign.
Yes. You like to hold their feet to the fire, Ryan?
We've gone off the rails already. We're just kidding. This is episode 1. What's going to happen next? Anyway, so David and Mitch are going to find some more of these clue animal signs out in the jungle, and they're going to tell everyone what they found, which is really interesting. They're just going to go look for more clues as a tribe together. They haven't figured it out yet because they need the codex, unless there's maybe it's a different type of device for this tribe. But yeah.
I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit different for this tribe just because on Vula, they didn't have any of the numbers. They only had the symbols. And yeah, I agreed at first. I'm like, wow, I can't believe he's just going out and just telling people about this. But then you realize how obvious all these symbols are. Like, this is not a secret. People are going to find this out really quickly. So use it as a bonding moment.
This is such a hard idol to get that you're unlikely to do without help, so you might as well just blow it all up for everyone to know, and anyone who goes for it will be put on blast.
This is a perfect example of a Castaway Consultants idol that you get, and unless you have like a very tight Loggy-esque tribe where you can call this maybe a group idol for the, further down the line when we get to a merge or a swap situation, you just burn this idol immediately after you get it because it's so involved. And like Josh said, these things are so obvious, and everyone's been watching Survivor for 48 seasons. If you see a turtle painted on a rock, it means something. I mean, it means
It's just decorations.
I thought it just meant Turtle Road,
So Kyle's going to joke in a confessional because Charity is going to say she likes her steak medium well. And he's going to joke. He doesn't do this to her face, which is probably smart, but in confessional, he's like, oh, God, she's medium well steak. She's a psycho. We got to vote her out immediately. And I felt that in my soul.
As someone who had no choice growing up in how my steak was cooked, it was always cooked medium well. And by medium well, it usually means that they forgot it on the grill and it was well done. Watch that SNL skit from the 50-year celebration where they're trying to cut the well steak, and that's how I feel about well steaks.
How I feel is Hank Hill from King of the Hill. Dad, what happens if someone wants their steak well done? We ask them politely yet firmly to leave.
The answer is medium at most, medium rare if you're awesome, and rare is acceptable. That's me. That's how I like my steak.
Medium rare is probably the socially correct answer. I will die on the hill that rare steak is the best steak.
True medium rare. Not just, hey, I'm going to say medium rare, and then they're actually going to bring it out as medium because, they don't actually want medium rare. No.
Yeah, medium rare, slow cooked, and then reverse seared to finish it off.
False.
That is how you make a steak. If you make it any other way, you need to try it that way. And if you don't like it, you know what? Do what you want. We're all allowed to be different, but some people are psychopaths.
Some people are just wrong.
Blast the heat for as little amount of time as possible to have it be medium rare. That's my method.
Drop it on the grill for 10 seconds each side and take a bite.
That's
Moo.
what we called a blue steak.
Moo.
And Ryan is a psycho.
I do like blue steak. Rare is the best, but I will eat a blue steak. Yeah, no, I want my steak mooing. Now, on the island, will I say that? No. I get weird looks and judgment from my coworkers just for saying I like rare steak. On the island, I'll be like, yeah, nice medium rare steak is good. I don't think it would matter too much, but this is the steak politics.
And now the other question that was asked was, what's your favorite movie?
Yeah, good bonding question. You know, if you're put on the spot like that, it's good to have an answer to bond over.
Yeah,
Derek, what's your favorite movie?
Twister.
That's my favorite movie.
Awesome.
We can make the Twister Alliance.
This is a great bonding moment. Josh, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, hey guys, we can be in the I don't have a favorite movie alliance. Yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna vote you out because you're so indecisive.
Look at this indecisive guy.
All right, Josh, you're on the beach. Someone asks you what's your favorite movie. Go.
What do you say? Go.
Twister.
Derek and I aren't there.
I can lie. It's fine.
Why would you lie about that being your favorite movie?
Because I don't have an answer.
See, here's the thing though. If you say Twister is your favorite movie, you have to have a reason. Oh, Josh, I like Twister too. Why do you like Twister?
Because this is the reaction we get. Really? Why?
Exactly.
Twister?
Yes.
What the hell's
It's
wrong
so
with you?
fun, and I watched it all the time growing up, just like you guys.
You're the worst.
He doesn't get it.
We're voting him out first.
We're voting Josh out first. His
That's fair.
And by the way, his favorite movie is probably like Anchorman or
Yeah.
something.
It's the movie that I've seen the most. I don't know if it'd be my favorite, but I could quote the most of it.
Okay. Well,
How many times have you seen Anchorman?
I don't know, like 50.
Okay, that's better than I thought.
Now, for the listeners out there, I think this is a great opportunity to pause and go to Spotify or to us on Blue Sky and let us know how you like your steak cooked and tell us what your favorite movie is. And I want to actually give you the next 10 seconds of me talking to put down what you're doing and go interact and let us know, because we want to know, are there other people out there who actually like their steak well done? And is there anybody out there whose favorite movie also happens to be Twister? And maybe let me know your favorite syrup, just because.
Like maple syrup?
Yeah, your favorite brand of maple syrup.
Got to be more
What an
specific.
odd
Like there's
question.
chocolate syrup. I could go for a Twister and a steak, rare steak right now.
Oh, that sounds like a date.
Kyle and Camilla are going to have a ton in common, it turns out. They have the same favorite movie.
Holes.
Holes, which respect. I love Holes is a fantastic movie.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad. You keep digging.
One of the best gifts.
Yep, love it. So they bond it. Everyone sees this. Okay. So later, Charity's going to talk to Camilla about, like, hey, Kyle's kind of sus. He might have an advantage. We should vote him out, maybe. And it's like, why would you say that to her when they clearly have a tight bond going? And Camilla's immediately going to tell Kyle, who immediately tells Chrissy and David, and the four of them are going to make an anti-charity alliance.
Yeah, they're anti-charity.
Yeah, they're anti-charity.
I think that's one way to do it. Just all bond against someone.
None of them trust her. It's just like, what? Don't throw someone under the bus who has to their closest ally.
You have to take to quote Justin from this episode, you have to take inventory when you're talking to other people, and I don't think Charity does a very good job here of being socially aware enough to understand where the cracks might be. Maybe don't angle against Kyle to Camilla. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. We're gonna go to the immunity challenge. Logi's gonna win. Siva gets second, and Vula gets third because Stephanie and Kevin kind of they were in last going into the puzzle, and they made up ground and even took second for a little bit, but then they fell apart at the end because apparently Stephanie was busy looking at other people's puzzles and not focusing on her own, is what we're told. But Vula is going to tribal council. Say's alliance wants to take out Stephanie, where Mary and Stephanie want to take out Say, and they try and recruit both Justin and Kevin as kind of our swings here. So Justin and Kevin are going to go off and talk, and basically they are going to decide this vote. They're worried about Say having an idol and her playing really hard, but they are in an alliance with her, so they could just take out Stephanie. Kevin also has an alliance with Mary, so he's a little bit torn. That's where we're set up going into tribal council. I know Derek and I were very happy, like, oh, one of these two is going. Good.
Yes. Very, very, very intense. Or very, very satisfying, maybe.
Yeah, and I actually wish that we would have gotten a little bit more from Kevin and Justin here. We got a little bit of them just like walking together, but I feel like these two really had the pivotal decision of which way they wanted, honestly, this entire tribe to go. And maybe they didn't have as much sway as what it seemed, but I would have liked to have a little bit more discussion with them kind of weighing their odds, just because I think it's a really interesting decision that they have to make here.
And at Tribal Council, Say and Stephanie are definitely a little snippy with each other. I'm like, yes, please, one of you just go. Both of you go. Bye.
Drive the other one to quit.
Again, I was following Mike Bloom very closely during this episode, and he said that it was very stressful and very the animosity was very high, especially for a first Tribal Council, way more than it even came through on the screen with what they gave us. So we missed some fireworks with Say and Stephanie, and I kind of wish I knew what it was.
Yeah. But Stephanie is going to end up playing her shot in the dark. She's not safe. It's going to be 4 votes for Stephanie, 1 vote for Say from Mary. Mary was left out. Was this the right move? This is a really weird one because it's kind of a situation where you really have to just trust Kevin and Justin's gut. How do they feel about Stephanie? How do they feel about Say? And just who do you feel more comfortable going with? That's the direction you want to go. That's hard to translate through to the screen to us, especially episode 1. So I'm going to say this is the right move, but if they'd gone the other way, it also would have been the right move. I'm going to cop out a little bit here, but that's how I feel.
Boo, cop out. This is the wrong move.
Okay.
This is the wrong move. I personally would not want to play with someone like Say just because of the way that she's playing. And she's playing really hard, which, respect, but at the same time, I don't know if I would want that person to be in my alliance. Also, she has an idol. Like Kevin said, that's not my idol. That's her idol. If you vote her out, it's out of the game, able to be found in some sort of way, probably. Again, you want to have a solid 4 going forward, and you could have that either way that you go here. Someone's probably going to be on the outs. It's either going to be Mary, which is what happened, or probably Cedric. So, I think that you can make this work either way, and I would just feel a lot safer with someone like Stephanie versus Say.
I think that's fair. I do think that's very fair. Like I said, it just really is how they feel.
Like Ryan says, it's an interesting situation. 1, because it's also the first, I should say, 1, because of what Ryan said. 2, because it's the first vote of the game. What they do here is going to set the tone of their tribe for as long as their tribe is together. I would not want Say to be the figurehead to any alliance that I am in, based on what we saw. Too erratic, too forthright, and in her own way not trustworthy. I'm not saying that she can't keep a secret. I'm saying she can't be trusted to keep even her own best interests in the game front of mind. Stephanie was the other option. Maybe the plan is Say next, but Stephanie is also great, and we're going to make Say feel a little more comfortable with her idol. Lines haven't been drawn. You could definitely surprise her next time and keep Mary, which I would expect that Kevin would want to do. So I'm going to say it's the right move because they did it. I don't mean to say it's a cop-out. I'm just saying they still have options, and either way, 2 people were ending up on the outs, and they can still keep all of the people that have a rational head on their shoulders based on the edit we got. I'm not saying that Say and Stephanie are irrational people. I'm just saying the edit we got, let us know what kind of players the game is going to see them as.
Yeah. Let's get a best worst player of the episode. I'll start us off. For best player, there's a few options here, but I'm ultimately going to give mine to Kevin. He got some really bad luck right at the beginning with the injury. What do you do? So I do like that he took the risky approach to going off on his own on this solo adventure, just because dire situation. You got to do something risky. It paid off. He handled himself really well at the challenge, gets back to camp, bonds with just about everybody, ends up on the right side of the vote. So yeah, I'm going to give mine to Kevin just because he had such an unlucky start and his bounce back was really incredible.
For my best, I'm going to give it to Joe, mostly because Loggy looks like a powerhouse tribe. He is in a powerhouse alliance and in a powerhouse duo that is included in that alliance of 3/4/5, depending on what way you slice it. And he just seems like someone who you want to play the game with. Now, does the loyal person typically win Survivor? No, but that does not mean that the loyal person can't have a best first episode, because guess what? There's 2 of them on this tribe. They can go far. I'm giving it to Joe.
I am going to give it to Thomas here, mostly because I like where he ended up. Once they hit the beach, he was concerned about the people that he was surrounded by, just because he felt like he didn't fit in with the just big, strong, athletic people, even though he's a big dude. Sure, it depends on, how you perceive yourself. But he ended up forming an alliance with the 3 guys, the California Girls Alliance, but then coupled that with probably the best thing that you can do in the game, having a duo within that, not including someone in the California Girls Alliance. And he has a number 1 in Bianca. So, he could have that set of 4 go deep into this game if he really wanted to. If they don't go to tribal, they could have a set of 5. Who knows? But I just really like how Thomas is set up now.
Okay. How about worst player, Derek?
I'm going to give it to Charity for 2 reasons. One, because Camilla was very easily able to throw her under the bus and then back over her and then forward over her, really double tap. And the other thing is a subtle thing, but every time that we cut to Charity, her body language was very inward focused. I understand that can trigger the edit. We're out, we see less than 1% of 1%. But the fact that people were saying that she wasn't making great connections with them, she gets thrown under the bus, and then we see her so closed off and so sheltered and so inwardly focused. I'm not thinking that social awareness is her strong suit, and I think that she's the next to go if that tribe has to go to tribal.
Josh?
I was debating between Charity and Star. I was going to give it to Star just because I think that the downside of Charity was more so good moves from Camilla. So because of that, I kind of just used that as a tiebreaker. Neither of them were good. But Star just completely ignored what appeared to be completely ignoring the social game, and it was obvious. And I think if they go to tribal council, Star's going home.
I completely agree with Josh. Everything you said.
Yay.
I had a dishonorable mention to Star. Right there.
Dishonorable mention to Charity, but yeah, Star is my pick as well.
And just real quick, we didn't mention that we did post a couple of polls about if the right person went home on social media. And according to Twitter, 77% of people did say that no, the right person did not go home. And then according to Threads, it's 67% said no as well.
Okay. All right, let's get into who is going next. Josh, start us off on the Siva tribe. Who's going out first?
Like Derek said, it's Charity. It seems like there's an anti-Charity alliance, which is hilarious. It's sorry, Charity, but it's hilarious. So yeah, going her.
I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah. I'll take us over to Lagi. Yeah, I think it's Star pretty handily.
I agree that it's Star.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, I think.
All right, and Derek, take us over to Vula.
Now, perhaps the most interesting of the 3, I would
agree.
say. I'm going to say, I don't think that anyone really wants to play with her, and Kevin and Mary at least have a strong connection. I think that Say's bond is a little superficial because of the idol. Not because of the idol. It's superficial, but it exists because of the idol. That's not a very strong bond. So I'm going to say that Say goes home, and I don't think she'll play her idol. I think she's going to be feeling like $1 million. And she won't play it.
I agree. I think Say's going to go home with an idol in her pocket. I think that would have been the right move this episode, and I think there's going to be a little bit of buyer's remorse from Kevin and Justin, and they're going to get that foursome together with Cedric. And maybe Cedric doesn't hop on. Who knows? Or maybe they leave him in the dark because they don't want to risk, say, playing the idol. But either way, I think that she's going to have a lot of attention on her.
I think you guys are mostly right, and I would not be shocked at all if this happened, and I kind of hope it does because it'd be hilarious. But I do think she'll play her idol, and I think Mary will get knocked out of the game, so I have Mary. But yeah, I hope you guys are right. That'd be so funny.
Mary is the obvious backup,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
All right, now for my favorite segment, who can't win this game? We're gonna make some hot takes, strong takes right out the gate. We're through episode 1. Two people cannot win this game, but in the pre-merge we just do one person. So Josh, tell us who cannot win this game.
I don't know. The two people that I wrote down on my cast list last, which I usually do at the beginning of each season based off of like order of appearance, basically when they start actually talking and having confessionals on the show. The last two people that I wrote down were Star and Justin. When Justin popped up, I'm like, who are you? Like, okay, that's fine. But since Justin actually had some part in the decision making here, I'm not gonna go with him. I'm gonna go Star just because I think that Star has the highest likelihood of going home next.
You know, I debated between Star and my final answer, but I almost picked Star. But I ended up going with Say most, and I think my bias is definitely shown because I find her kind of annoying. So maybe that's a me problem, and maybe the rest of the cast likes her more. I'll go with Say.
I'm gonna go with Charity, and it's because of that social awareness piece. So regardless of whether Camilla was able to finesse her in episode 1, even though they weren't actually in danger, I just saw someone who didn't understand where they fit in the tribe and how to build bridges and keep those bridges unscathed. So I'm going with Charity, but it's a soft.
Yeah.
To spoil it, I have no forks to stick in anybody this episode. Last season, I think I may have done 3 right off the bat.
Yeah, I think so.
This season, I'm not going to do it yet because say what you will about Say, if she makes it to the end doing what she's doing right now, I think she wins.
Mm-hmm.
But
good luck getting there.
Will she get there? I highly doubt it.
Which brings us to our survivor pool, where, as a reminder, the survivor pool, we each pick a player, someone we don't think is going to go home next. And you can all play along with us. You got to pick someone who you don't think is going home, and if you survive that episode, you're correct. You get to keep playing, but you cannot use the same person twice. Once you use that person, you're done. So you don't want to run out of people too early by picking the strong people early on. So this is always really fun. Derek's won 3 in a row here, but please play along with us, and we'll shout you out on the podcast if you win or lose.
Yeah. And just a quick shout out from last season. I think, if I remember correctly, our lone listener at the end was Jordan, I believe. So, hopefully you guys we had a few listeners that played along with us last season, whether it was through DMs on Instagram or Twitter or through the Spotify responses. So, participate again. And I have a spreadsheet that I'm keeping track of all the responses of there, and see if you can beat us.
For whatever it's worth, I did beat Jordan, so
you did. I wanted to shout out our best listener.
Yes.
I'm going to kick this off. I may have said she can't win this game, but I think she's going to survive this next episode because she's got an idol. I'm going with Say.
I'm going high risk. I said that Say is next to go on that tribe, but I don't think that tribe is going to tribal next. I am going to stick with the person with the idol. I want to use her now while she's usable. I'm going to go Say. So if Josh has a different one, he could win this week. Oh,
and I do have a different one.
Okay.
Shot in the dark, kind of. Actually, I probably could have picked a lot safer of a person, but I went with someone who, I don't know, could just play himself out of this game pretty easily. Hopefully not until later in the pre-merge. I'm going David here.
Okay. Stuntman David. Okay. Sounds good. And yeah, Josh could win by episode 3.
That would be hilarious, and it would be worth it because Say would be gone. Again, Say, big fan of the podcast. It's just how they painted you in episode 1.
Yep.
Okay, we love you.
All right, last thing we got to do is our winner picks. We got to lock them in for this season. Who is winning this game? Derek, who's your winner pick?
I'm going for a weird one, and I'm going with my best player of the episode. I'm going to say Joe. I think he will complete his loyalty arc. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but weirdly enough, I can see it being an all-male final 3. I really can. I don't know why. This season just feels like a guy is going to win. I hope the ladies prove me wrong. I'm excited to see it. But I'm going to go with Joe this time. Very strange Derek pick, I admit. But I'm excited to root for Joe. Maybe that's why I'm doing it.
It's a very interesting pick. Because I do not see him being the winner just because I feel like he's ready to just sacrifice himself already for Ava.
To be clear, if he loses, I can absolutely see him saying, I want to go instead of Ava. That is the downside here. I recognize that. I do.
Josh?
Yeah. So usually I like to pick some candidates from each tribe. While I really enjoy this cast, I'm having a hard time seeing some winners here on any tribe that's not named Logie. So I could see Eva winning. I could see Shaheen, if I pronounce that correctly. And I could see Thomas winning from Logie. Thomas was my best player of the episode, and he's going to be my winner pick. I love his positioning right now in this game. He's the only person I think that has multiple alliances other than Joe. But I'm not going to go with Joe just because I think he could self-sacrifice at some point. I don't know how much of a Survivor fan he is or how knowledgeable on the game he is just because of his motivations of why he's here. And so Thomas is that other guy in that alliance who I think seems to be really personable and who seems to be smart enough to be able to navigate along on what looks to be a strong tribe.
I agree with Josh. I'm going with Thomas.
Woo!
I was never going to pick Kyle. Kyle could also win, but I'm not picking an attorney. I'm not picking a lawyer. Not doing it.
All right. Well, that wraps up episode 1. Solid start. I'm excited to see where it goes next. So, guys, where can the listeners communicate with us and follow us?
Yeah, like I mentioned, interact with us all season. It's super fun. We try to both live tweet and live skeet. I know Ryan loves that term on Blue Sky. So go ahead and interact with us. I know we had a couple of people who were out there during the premiere. Both of those are at Castaway Pod. You can also follow us on Instagram at Castaway Pod. And then YouTube, these are going to be all recorded on videos, and they'll be up probably about a day after the actual audio recording is up on there. So make sure to go follow us on YouTube. You could also watch the videos on Facebook. Both of those are going to be under Castaway Consultants. And if you're impatient and don't want to wait for the video, but still want to go through YouTube, the audio version, the audio only version does upload immediately if you want to get right to it. But if you want to see our beautiful faces, you can wait as well. And then we do have a website where we post Ryan's blogs too, which is thecastawayconsultants.com.
And I've already done my call out for Spotify. Go let us know how you like your steak cooked, or if you don't even like steak, let us know your favorite movie, play along with the Survivor pool game. But more importantly, go to survivor50cbs.votenow.tv and for goodness sake, I don't care what you do with rice. I don't care about tribe colors. Get rid of forced fire making at the Final Four. We have been saying this since day 1 on this podcast. Get rid of it. And don't look at the biased wording. Jeff, big fan of the podcast.
Very biased.
Pretty biased. Get rid of that and give us a live finale in LA. These are 2 very important changes that I would love to see us make to Survivor going forward.
Let's vote. Get out the vote. Let's get rid of fire making and let's get the reunion show back.
Hot take. I actually prefer the votes being read live in Fiji, but I want a live reunion show as well. If Bravo can do it with reality TV shows like the Real Housewives, CBS and Survivor can do it. Come on, read the votes in Fiji and then have a reunion show. That's my opinion. I did vote on having the live reunion show just to prove a point, though.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
Nope, that's it. No more fire making, please.
Yep, let's do it. All right, this has been the Castaway Consultants.
Got nothing else for you.
Good night.